talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
That's right. You are tuning in to the Changing Stage radio show powered by the WS Radio Network. Your source to be in the know with the music biz. It's also brought to you by the fun folks at musicpower.com and Guitar Trader, where real musicians talk about real gear. In fact, we have a special show today. We have some folks from musicpower.com and Guitar Trader, as well as an amazing guru on the pedal boards and actually tons of other gear. This guy is just a wealth of knowledge. They're going to be doing a clinic here in a few hours over at the Guitar Trader on Claremont Boulevard. In fact, we have Lauren Rice and Ron Moreno. Lauren, how you doing, brother?
Hey, thanks, Tino. It's great to be here, buddy. Thanks for inviting us over, and we're just really happy to be here at WS Radio. This is great. You guys have an awesome setup here, and thanks for inviting us over. This is awesome.
Well, thank you. And Ron, again, thank you for coming out. I know you've got a busy schedule with all the different events and clinics and radio shows you do all over the country.
Well, we're starting, so it's growing.
Yes, great. Well, Lauren, hey, you've been my guy to go to over Guitar Trader, and you've been exceptionally helpful to me. I found out about it through friends. It's always kind of word of mouth. I want to know more about Guitar Trader right now. Tell me a little bit about the history. I know it's been around for 35 years, and, I know Eric really well, and you guys are just freaking awesome.
Thanks, Tino. That's great. It's great to help you in particular. And, we've been part of this community it's actually going on close to 40 years now. I think it's 38 years, and a lot of people, it's funny, we'll get people coming into the store and they get this kind of funny look on their face and like, wow, how long's the store been here? I think I was here when I was a little kid.
This is an Arby's?
Right. And, they just have this vague memory of being like a little kid in our store. And it's like, wow, well, welcome back. Thanks for finding us again. Yeah, we've been part of this town for a long time. And, it's funny. The history of the store is it got started in a guy's garage.
Really?
Basically,
Wow.
our original owner was named Ed Schwecken, and he was a guy who just loved to comb the classified ads and buy guitars, and then he'd resell them. And he was doing this out of his garage. So basically, we're a garage-founded business. And as the story goes, I think Ed's wife had just had a little bit too much of strange guitar buyers, asking to come in and use the bathroom and, a glass of water. And, who's that long-haired guitar player guy in the living room looking at his guitar? So Ed's wife was just a dear sweetheart. And she's like, Ed, you got to go open a store. This is just too much. It's a constant parade of people in our house looking for guitars. So, that's how the Guitar Trader was born. Ed, moved to our, store in Kearney Mesa. We're, just right off the 805. On Claremont Mesa Boulevard. We're really
address for everybody.
It's 7120 Claremont Mesa Boulevard. We're one block east of the 805, and that's right behind the Arby's fast food restaurant. So I always tell people, grab a beef and cheddar and come on over. Just wash your hands before you play the guitars. But so Ed got out of the garage, came over, started the business there, and we've been going strong for a long time. Now, after a few years, he sold the business to our one of our current owners, who is Eric Denton. And Eric has just been a pillar in this community from musicians and a really recognizable character in this community amongst musicians for a long time.
From the Monroes, in which we
Eric's
last week.
very famous for being in the Monroes, which was a really neat band back in the early 80s, and they had a great song on the radio that was like a national hit.
Yeah, it's coming back now too. That's what's pretty cool.
What do all the people know? Absolutely. So a lot of people still email us, hey, is Eric still there? The Monroes? I love that band. I love that song. And we still hear that a lot. So
great stuff.
Now, in recent years, Eric's taken on a co-owner. Our new general manager is Jeff Baumgart.
Okay.
And so they're co-owners, and Jeff has just been awesome. He's really just a steadying influence on our store. He's our general manager, and we look to him to set the tone on our daily store operations, and he's just a great guy, always willing to roll up his sleeves and help the customers and just do whatever it takes. So great ownership, great management, and a long history of taking care of the people of San Diego.
Exactly. And for me, I've been going to Guitar Trader since I moved to San Diego in '98, and I just found it, the biggest thing I found was the real musicians, people like yourself that are there that know what somebody who's in the business would need. In fact, you've got a wall of people that, you've got signed autographs from all these people from RAT. I mean, you could tell me a little bit about that, but that's what exceptionally impressed me about the company. And that's why talking to Eric, and we partnered in kind of helping to promote one another in this business. And I just, continually get floored by that. You've got these clinics. You had Michelangelo Battio not too long ago. You've got Ron here for the clinic that's happening today on pedal boards, demystifying the pedal board. So tell me a little bit about some of the people that work there yourself. What kind of background that you had in the music business. And I want people to know you folks for the heart that you have, because I think that's one of the things that's missing a lot in the music business, and especially in buying gear, is we see all these online places, and those places are great, but your online also still has a heart with the actual brick and mortar, what we call a brick and mortar store or retail outlet. So tell me about that.
Absolutely. Basically, you want to have someplace you can go. We can all sit at home and surf the internet, and you can look at a lot of great gear, and you can, read some informative articles and that stuff. But when it really comes down to it, you need to put your hands on this stuff. A guitar is such a tactile instrument. You need to touch it. You want to hold it. You want to play it. And at the same time, you don't want to be intimidated or pressured, or, sometimes it's nice just to go look at stuff, try it out in a fun, kind of a relaxed environment where you can ask questions and get guys to help you without feeling like, there's pressure or anything like that. We just want people to come to our store and have a good time, check out the gear, and hey, if you see something that's going to help further your enjoyment of the guitar, then we're here to help with that. And that's what we really do. We want to help you find the gear. We want to help you learn what the gear is all about. And we want to help you with your questions. There's a lot of things that you can't learn just by staring at a listing on an internet web page.
Exactly.
And some of the stuff can be a little confusing at times, and we're just help demystify all that. We want to make it simple, keep it real straightforward, and just help people get the gear that gives them so much enjoyment. And that's what I really love, is helping people get a guitar. There's a story last week. A guy's had some health problems. He came in with his wife. He had to sell a few things to get a new guitar. But the attitude his wife has, she's just, I'm so thankful that you could help him get this guitar, because it just means so much to him. She was almost like had a tear coming down her cheek. And it was really touching that these guitars, these musical instruments, really do mean a lot to people. And it's like helping somebody find their best friend. And that's a great feeling for us. We really, when people come back and they say, man, that guitar I got from you, I just can't tell you how much I enjoy it and what it means to me. That's what this is all about. That really brings it home for us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a lot of heart, a lot of passion for the music, and and the gear you have, it spans from entry level all the way up to like the top of the echelon of gear. You've got people that can teach you how to play your instruments if you want to have lessons, right? You've got a school there. So,
absolutely.
So you've got all these wonderful things. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself. You've been with the company for like forever, right?
Boy, let me tell you, I get that a lot. Yeah, I've been there for almost 20 years now, and that's I shake my head when I think about that. And I guess when you're doing something you love, the time really flies by, and that's how I can sum it up. Is that I've been a guitar nut since I was about 15. It's like so many people. I got the bug when I heard Smoke on the Water, and it's all been downhill ever since. You get those fingers flailing, and the first time you got that riff going, and just the way it made you feel, and just how excited you were, and just to this day I still see kids come in at a young age playing Smoke on the Water. It takes me right back to that magical moment when you first got excited about the electric guitar and the sounds that it can make. And that's half the fun. I just love helping kids get their first guitars. I love helping pros further their rig and get the gear that's important to them. And we do try and do it all, from entry level to intermediate to advanced players. We try and have a little bit of everything for everybody so that you can come to our store and really get what you need.
And that's it. You're a store that can provide all of that. You know, the quite often, again, you get the clerk kind of feel when you go to some locations and different places. So I think that's really what I found for you guys. Tell me a little bit about some of the big players. Like I said, the Wall of Fame that you guys have there.
We do have what we call the Wall of Fame in our store. It's a display case where we've got a lot of autographs and a lot of memorabilia from some famous people you know. You know, we've had some famous employees. Robin Crosby of Rat worked with us for a while.
Wow.
And you know, just over the years, there have been a lot of clinics that we've done where we've had famous people coming in. We've had
Joe Satriani.
Joe Satriani. We've had Zach Wilde. We've had Dave Mustaine. You know, we've really, you know, Michelangelo Badio was just here a couple weeks ago, just shredding his brains out.
Yeah, he's amazing, man.
It was just amazing, you know. So we've had some great players over the years come in and do these performance clinics. And then later today at 1:00, we've got Ron Moreno coming in to do it's a different type of clinic. It's a real hands-on helping clinic where we're really helping musicians organize and figure out what's going on with their pedal boards. And this is another type of service we really like to do. You know, we've got lessons.
Yeah.
We've got repairs. You know, we can fix electronic stuff. We can fix guitars. We can help you learn. So we really want to be a full-service, community-oriented, locally owned, homegrown store where the people of San Diego can come and feel comfortable and try guitars and learn about this whole thing. It's just great. It's a lot of fun.
Great stuff. That was Lauren Rice from Guitar Trader, musicpower.com. We are going to be back in about 3 minutes. We're going to take a little pause for the cause. My name is Florentino. This is The Changing Stage on the WS Radio Network with musicpower.com giving us that special boost. Come down back. Stay tuned.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. Vin Village connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. Vin Village is where wine lovers connect.
Linda Zweig. Listen to Del Mar Fairgrounds Radio every Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. We host over 350 events every year at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, including the award-winning San Diego County Fair. That's Del Mar Fairgrounds Radio, 2 to 3 p.m. every Thursday at WSRadio.com.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Are you ready to get real about your music? My name's Florentino, and I'm the host of The Changing Stage. On my show, we get the real stories of how great music and musicians are made. You know who else is real? The professionals at MusicPower.com. They help serious players make music happen with the right advice, direction, and cutting-edge gear. Isn't it time you leave amateur hour behind and go to MusicPower.com? Real musicians, real gear.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to The Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
That's right, we are back. This is Florentino Buenaventura on The Changing Stage, powered by the WS Radio Network in partnership with our fun friends at MusicPower.com and Guitar Trader. And we just want to say thanks again for Lauren Rice, who came out. He had to run back to the store to go ahead and get everything set up for that clinic that's happening at 1 p.m. over at the Guitar Trader on Claremont. And we still have the great Ron Moreno. This guy knows about gear. If anybody knows about gear, Ron knows about gear. And he's here with us right now to kind of talk us through all the fun things. So, Ron, tell me a little bit about yourself so that people know what they're going to be getting at the clinic.
Let's go with a short story. I started playing about 14 years old, and I think I've been in the music business, I have been my entire life. After playing, after I was 15, 16, 17, taking off, doing a little mini tour here and there.
Well, that was like 5 years ago, right?
No. Yeah, I wish it was.
You got some season.
Yeah, eventually I got my first retail gig at a place called the Bay Center in Los Angeles. It was the first dedicated bass store in the U.S.
Okay.
And that was where I got not only the retail experience on that side of the fence, but also the product side. Because a lot of the new guys that were coming into the amplification and bass instruments and other products for those things, we were the first to see that stuff and also able to do a little R&D with those companies and give them some feedback and try to improve and get their completed product done with those guys. So did that and eventually worked for various manufacturers, instrument companies, and did some consultation work, did a little more retail, and landed up at G&L BBE Sound, where I did national sales for G&L.
Oh, really? That's what I play is G&L.
So I've been there for I was there about 14 years.
Okay.
So since then, in the last few years, I have an independent rep firm, which I represent Gailey & Kruger and One Control and Stage Trick, some of the things we're going to talk about today.
Yep.
And also I work with another marketing firm called Monster Marketing. We represent Orange Amplifiers, Seymour Duncan.
Oh, man, this is all
Internet.
great gear.
Yeah. So that's the short story, and we're going to be talking about basically one particular product that will be integrated in your pedal board called One Control, which is various things: loop interfaces, buffers, blender type pedals, flash switches, things that you would integrate on your board to help use what you have and also help use what you're not using. In other words, everybody has stuff at home that they're not using pedal-wise, but you could actually bring that stuff out and integrate it on your board with some of these switchers so that you can use it. So that's going to be part of the study as well. And And, it's more like a pedal board 101, but we try to help them out as much as we can.
Well, it's funny. I know a lot of players, and I know a lot of really seasoned great players, but the pedal board seems to be, and that's the title of the show, a mystery, because it's like, how do you, where are where's the chain flow going to go? How do you set these up? What works best with what? It's like, making, a fine meal. There's a lot of artistry to it, and that's what you're able to provide, right?
Well, I am not one of the gurus or one of the guys that I would consider the install guys out of LA. You've got guys like that I consult with on occasion and learn from Bob Bradshaw to LA Sound Design to Rack Systems Limited in North Hollywood.
I didn't even know that there was actually specialty people. I mean, I knew about you, but there's even companies that do this?
There are pro guys that go to these professionals to have their board or boards installed and prepared and worked on for session work, or if they're doing a TV show or whatever it might be.
Wow.
But that's what they do for a living, and they do it really well. And they integrate things that are far more complicated than what we're going to talk about today on the pedal board. But the pedal board actually is now kind of like a smaller version of what guys were doing rack systems in the day. Now you can integrate and automate some things on your pedal board to do a lot of those things with a lot of the new products and not have to take this huge refrigerator looking thing on the road, because it's not feasible anymore. Traveling, you have a weight limit anymore of about 70 pounds. And they want you to be well under that. So it's guys are trying to come in at 50 pounds or so. You know?
The business has changed so much and how that goes. I mean, some things stay the same. Again, I've been in the business for since I was 16 years old, so 32 years. And I don't know anything really about structuring pedals other than what I've learned for studio production. So it's pretty amazing. Now, you were talking about your controllers that kind of help affect that. Talk a little bit about that, because a lot of people don't realize that just buying a pedal and plugging it into another pedal isn't always going to be your best result. So talk about that controller.
Those guys doing it that way, and it works fine. Mm-hmm. But there are things you can do to improve that particular thing. What we do with the loop interface is basically a box that has X amount of loops on it.
Okay.
It's passive. And what that does is it allows you to plug in X amount of pedals into a loop, 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
But when those pedals are not being used, the input from the passive, the loop, to the output, it sounds like you're just going direct to your amplifier. So it bypasses all the cable and the wire and anything on the board not being used. When it's activated, you're hearing it, of course.
Oh, wow.
But all of that 20 feet of cable that might be on the board, the other pedals, there could be hum in particular pedals, there could be a little hiss, whatever. Those are taken out of the loop entirely, so that's not an issue.
See, now that's something I can actually use, because ironically, I was just talking to my producer Paul. I play bass, and I have a Digitech pedal. I can't remember, it's like a RB60, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I use the BBE Sonic Maximizer to kind of get that oomphy, those harmonic tones. Mm-hmm. I always want the Sonic Maximizer on, but I don't always want the pedal on, because the pedal makes a little bit of noise.
There you go.
Only for special things. So I was trying to figure that out. I was like, okay, maybe I'll plug in my BBE direct to my bass, but I didn't necessarily like the sound of that. So.
Well, there you go. That would be the perfect example of why you might want to have maybe maybe like a 3-channel one. If you don't have lots of pedals, but you do want to do a couple things like that, that is the perfect utility tool to integrate on your board. And that's going to be, there are different versions as well. Mm-hmm. That's a very basic one. It has 3 loops. It has a tuner out, so that your tuner can be muted.
Okay.
And in these products, they actually have the 9-volt DC on the unit itself, so you could plug in your pedals into this and get power from there as well.
Wow. Okay.
So you go to the next step, and you'll have another one that will have 5 loops, for example, but you'll be able to program what you wanted for the pedals to go on, so you have a little programmable thing. And then the next one would be a programmable version, but also MIDI. as well.
MIDI?
So you could talk to all of your MIDI devices like your Eventide or Strymon, whatever delay choruses that you want to go on at a particular channel, you can assign to that channel. So, and in that case, you have two modes. You have a play mode and you've got a program mode. What's the difference? Well, if you're doing a session or you're playing with the guys or whatever, you might want to manually turn on anything you want at a particular time because you're creating whatever sound that might come into your head.
Okay.
The second part might be, let's say, you're doing a TV show, whatever it is, and you're replicating a particular band or sound. You want that programmed in because you want that sound to go on at that particular time. And that might include 3 or 4 pedals being on all at one time at different parameters. So you can program that in. So it depends what you're doing and what you want to accomplish.
That's awesome, because I wasn't even aware. I knew that it was kind of a way to connect, but I didn't realize how it worked. And so that's definitely, I feel like I've already been to the clinic, at least a small part of it, right?
Yeah, it's it can get pretty it's pretty intuitive once somebody lets you know what tools are available and gives you a little advice.
That's it. It's all about awareness, and that's what this show is all about, is giving insight to our listeners, whether they be pro or we get a lot of people that are just getting in the business to get them aware of things that they may not be aware of. Like myself, I just learned. And now, do you also represent any other pedals, or is this the one?
Actually, besides that, I have a Big Joe Stomp Box Company, which is a U.S. made product out of Connecticut.
Okay.
And they do overdrives and phasers and different products.
And about them.
Yep, I'll have them there with their power supply, and we'll be and actually, I think we're going to be giving away one of the power slots, which a little power supply with the cables in there. So we're going to do that in a draw or something like that. But that's another one that we do. Seymour Duncan is another one, and they just released their new pedals. They've got a new overdrive, and I'll be talking about their Vapor Trail analog delay, which is another one that's really cool.
And they'll get a chance to see these.
Yes.
We'll have over at the clinic.
Yeah.
So we've got about 30 seconds before we hit the commercials, and I just want to remind everybody to go to the Guitar Trader on Claremont Boulevard. You'll be able to talk to Ron Moreno. You'll see Lauren out there. Tell him you heard him. You heard him on the radio, and he was sounding great to me, and just a wealth of knowledge. My name's Florentino. This is The Changing Stage, powered by WS Radio Networks in partnership with our fun friends at MusicPower.com and Guitar Trader. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to get real about your music? My name's Florentino, and I'm the host of The Changing Stage. On my show, we get the real stories of how great music and musicians are made. You know who else is real? The professionals at MusicPower.com. They help serious players make music happen with the right advice, direction, and cutting-edge gear. Isn't it time you leave amateur hour behind? Then go to MusicPower.com. Real musicians, real gear.
Love to read but just don't have the time? With Audible.com, you can catch up on reading simply by listening. Audible has the largest collection of digital audiobooks, over 85,000 titles in every genre. Listen to a bestseller on your iPhone, BlackBerry, Android smartphone, or one of 500 other compatible devices. Visit audible.com/WS Radio today and get a free audiobook when you try Audible free for 14 days. That's audible.com/WS Radio.
Are you confused about using social media for your online marketplace business? You know how to run your business, but now you're supposed to be on Twitbook or InstaFace or something like that. The complications make your head spin. Social Beacon by PageMage is here to make it easy. Whether eBay, Amazon, or Etsy, Social Beacon will help you promote and grow your business across social networks like Pinterest and Facebook. And did we mention it's free? You know you need to do it. Start at pagemage.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the coaches training program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
When it comes to printers, Canon technology has changed the way images and text are put to paper. Canon's laser beam printer technology has redefined both color and black and white printing standards in over 80% of the world's laser printer. Canon's bubble jet printing technology has completely revolutionized color printing by consistently delivering new innovations from personal use and home office businesses to corporate solutions. Canon printers have the technology and reliability you're looking for. Learn more at Canon.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
You are back on the Changing Stage radio show. I know this because I just heard my boxing theme music. This is Florentino. We had Lauren from the Guitar Trader a couple of segments ago, and we're going to continue on with Ron Moreno. And Ron is a specialist in pedals, and I want to tell everybody, if they're going to go to the clinic here over at the Guitar Trader on Claremont Boulevard, you might not see Ron because me and Paul might have to bury him in the background because I'm going to take his pedal board right now. This thing is awesome. I love this thing. Ron's a bass player, and I have like a couple of pedals, and I'm looking at this and I'm just drooling. I don't know if I'm like a little giddy schoolgirl right now. Ron, tell me a little bit about, you're a player. I mean, that's a key thing. Tell me about it. You've got this amazing rig. You do fusion. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, the board was based upon pedals I used in the past, but also on the project that we're doing now, which is basically, it's a fusion trio, a rock jazz kind of thing. And we are covering a lot of 70s fusion and some of the newer stuff.
There was a lot of effects back then. They like to experiment with synths and all that stuff.
Well, I'm also, in my case, I'm trying to replicate a keyboard, so I'm trying to go for more of a boog sound,
Okay.
So I'm trying to replicate a couple type of things. Same thing for the guitar player. This stuff really isn't so much that I use it all the time. It's once in a while. It's to enhance what we're doing with the music. And that's really what it's all about. Same thing with the guitar player. Before we started the project, we had an idea what we wanted to do. And as any guitar player would, you might focus on that first and then bring the pedals in later. But he was starting to cover keyboard parts.
Wow.
He had to do some comp parts, solo things, but they required a different sound or sounds for maybe a section of the song. And while we were doing rehearsal, in some cases, it was getting a little complicated because he was trying to put 2 or 3 pedals on to cover this particular sound. I said, you know what? Why don't you just group them and put them in a loop and just turn the switch on and you're done? Because it was starting to affect maybe his playing or concentration because the parts were difficult enough.
Yeah.
So this thing shouldn't get in the way of your creativity or playing. It should just enhance what you're doing.
Yeah.
And make it easier for you. So he did, and when he comes up to playing those parts, he hits the switch. There's no issue with playing the part now. It's just like that's been taken care of. So it really it's about what you're doing with the music, whether you're experimenting with your own band or you're replicating a sound that you really like and you're trying to get. It just really depends on what you're doing.
And I think we should probably clarify, too, what the loop is. The loop is actually the signal path between all the different effects tied to one loop channel, if you will. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's a box that allows you to like a patch bay, in other words.
Yeah.
And it's passive, and it allows you to plug in all these things, but they won't affect the sound of your instrument to your amplifier.
Unless that particular channel's turned on.
Correct.
Okay, because there are actually loop effects, so I didn't want to confuse people thinking of that. So, when did something like this come out? Because honestly, I've never heard of it.
Actually, it's been around a long time. When I was doing this stuff and playing...
I guess I haven't been around as much as I thought I have.
I had techs and friends that would make me a project box.
Uh-huh.
And by the time you'd buy the switches... or the jacks, the project box, the wire, and the time that you had to make it, it wasn't that cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And, we didn't have an LED. We didn't have a tuner or a mute built in. He'd make me a separate box that would be for that purpose. But today, I mean, for this particular one at $129, you get 5 loops, the LED. You've got power available if you want to plug into it. And the mute, and it's well made, and it's professional grade. I just can't go wrong with it,
Now, you said you had, what were the different sizes? It goes up to 5, right?
There's a 5, there's a 3, there's a 10, and there's just various options for each.
Price point, what can people expect list price? And then, of course, they go to Guitar Trader to get the good price, right?
Well, it would anywhere between $129 to $599 for the big guy. Yeah, and that's what the street price is.
Wow.
Which is it's really affordable today, what they've done, Now,
that's one of the things I do like about the Guitar Trader Music Power is that, what the list price is, what you might have to pay at other stores, they'll work with you on it. They look at who you are, they look at your budget, and they try to get you the best deal over there. So, and then you're going to be talking a little bit about that later on.
It's really important to go to the best store that you have in your town, because they're going to be able to show you things that you're not going to be able to see anywhere else. It also, when you buy from a store and not online per se, that store's able to exist, and those guys in there are able to feed their families.
Yeah.
Plus, they're providing a service. I only have 4 dealers in California for this line, so it's not everywhere. It's going to be in the best stores in the cities that we have. So they'll be able to not only show you something new, but they'll be able to advise you on it and what's best for you. And if they don't know what it is, they'll call us and ask, and we can talk to the customer and help him through his situation, which I do all the time.
Yeah.
Recently I've had guys, tell me that they purchased gear, had problems with it, and a dealer mentioned that a customer brought in an amplifier that wasn't working. Mm. Well, he was using instrument cable for his speaker cable, and he didn't have a switch turned on the amplifier that was engaging the amplifier. And he was wondering, and he swore that it was defective. But he took it into the store. The guy said, "What are you doing?" They figured it out and, put him straight and was able to help the guy out. But you can't call somebody and say online unless, you might have somebody that's really good in a case where they can, troubleshoot something like that.
Yeah.
You're going to get like, "Hello, Mr. So-and-so. Let me get my manual. Wait 5 minutes, comes back as a manual. Okay, Mr. So-and-so, where do we start from?" "Well, this is my problem." "Well, hold on, let me find," it's best to go to the store and ask the guys.
Yeah, I think that is key. And it's nice that, like I said, with, musicpower.com being also an online portion to the offline store, so you can get the best of both worlds.
Sure.
So, this has been a kind of a different industry now. It's changed quite a bit. You said you were with G&L and a number of different companies. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, let's talk about the importance of a customer going to a store. I mean, since 2008 to now, my guess, we've lost about 35 to 40% of the independent dealers across the country.
Yeah, most of it's been changed lately.
Yeah, and there's various reasons. Some guys were going to go out of business, but some of them went out, just due to economic purposes, and also maybe the advancement of the online thing, which, those guys have lost lots of sales that way. And, there's nothing wrong with going online, but I know a lot of people may go to the local store, check out the gear, and then go buy it online. That really hurts the independent dealer, because not only is he providing that stuff for you to see, but also lessens for our kids to grow into this industry, and for districts or school districts that don't have a program, the local music store is their district, for their school program.
That's where you can get your programs.
Yeah. It's really important. And if we're going to have or continue a music industry and new artists and kids, learning not only to write and read it, it's crucial to have,
We actually have to have players to make the loops, so that the other guys can go and take those loops and make it.
Yeah,
so, that's how it goes,
It's absolutely important, and that's why I do this, because I do the clinics to provide a service to the dealers so that customers can come in and I can talk to them in person and help them out in person. So, and I enjoy it, and they get a lot out of it, and I think it's great for both parties.
Yeah, I think this is good. I know that online we got a lot of response about the clinic saying, hey, this is a great idea. A lot of people aren't aware of some of these things, and the fact that there's a personal place more than just a YouTube video to tell you about it, that you can ask questions. You can't ask YouTube video questions. You might see something and go, but what is going on there really? So that is a big thing.
There's nothing wrong with YouTube. I go to it and reference it myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I try to seek out a guy lately to learn about a little more harmony and get lessons with a guy where I'm kind of refreshing what I had maybe done 15, 20 years ago. But now I want to get on a consistent thing with a guy and really get back into it again.
Yeah.
So, having lessons is, catered to what you need, and you get a lot more out of it in that time. So the lessons are important if you need them, but I always need them. I mean, any musician, you're never going to know it all. It's just never going to happen. So you're constantly consuming new information, musically.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got about 20 seconds before our break comes up. And I just kind of want to let everybody know again, Ron's going to be over at the Guitar Trader over on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. He's going to be going through, we're actually, this next segment, you're going to take and dissect my producer Paul's guitar pedal board. It's his pride and joy. He loves this thing. He's got so many eclectic little pedals, but it can be fine-tuned, right? And we're going to be talking about that. My name's Florentino with Ron Moreno. This is the Changing Stage radio show on the WS Radio Network, brought to you by our fun friends over at musicpower.com and Guitar Trader.
Are you ready to get real about your music? My name's Florentino, and I'm the host of The Changing Stage. On my show, we get the real stories of how great music and musicians are made. You know who else is real? The professionals at musicpower.com. They help serious players make music happen with the right advice, direction, and cutting-edge gear. Isn't it time you leave amateur hour behind? Then go to musicpower.com. Real musicians, real gear.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
Are you an adventurous wine drinker? Would you enjoy trying a bold red with dark fruit and a spicy finish from Hungary? Or an amphora-style Chivi Pinot with layers of complex flavors? Carpathian Wines hand selects extraordinary wines from premier Central European wineries. At CarpathianWines.com, you'll find amazing dry whites, big juicy reds, even the famous Tokaja Azul. Discover award-winning limited production wines from the heart of Central Europe. Find them only at CarpathianWines.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
That's right. This is the Changing Stage on the WS Radio Network. My name is Florentino, and I'm here with Ron Moreno and Paul Berezetsky. You online, Paul?
Yes, I am.
He's my producer, guitar player. And this is actually coming pretty fortuitously because we're playing a gig tonight over at the Heart Lounge, and Paul's been tinkering with his pedal board. And that's what this segment's all about, is you're going to kind of give at least the audio version of what people are going to be able to experience over there at the Guitar Trader on Claremont Boulevard. So, Ron, you've got the pedal board right in front of you.
Mm-hmm. He's looking at my board like a surgeon that's about to have to give some bad news. I'm not sure what could be done.
Well, yeah.
Paul, why don't you tell them some of what gear you have on there so they know?
Okay, so my signal chain starts with the Boss compression sustainer pedal, goes into kind of this funky DoD wah. Yes. Into a Boss equalizer GE7, into a T-Rex boost and drive combo called the Crunchy Frog. Out of that into a Keeley modded blues driver pedal, also by Boss. And from there to the modulation effects, small stone phaser and build your own clone chorus pedal that I believe is supposed to emulate one of those early 80s Boss CE pedals. From there it goes into a Fryette distortion pedal with a power tube in it, which that's one of the biggest ones that I'm not sure what to do with it on this board. It's super powerful. I have to keep it, the volume and the drive, almost down to nothing.
He has it taped up.
I have it taped up. If I even nudge it a little bit with my foot, it just blows everything up.
Screams.
So I'm using that for the most part as kind of like give it a boost signal. I don't really use it for a drive, just to kind of give it like a preamp warmth. And out of that, it goes into the last pedal is a Boss digital delay DD5.
Yeah. And then you have a Vox 60 VXT amp, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you can play through. And then you also play through the PV Classic 50. I know this because I hear it right next to me all the time.
Cool.
So, Ron, as you see this and you see the chain that Paul has presented to you, like what, start from scratch?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If this works for him and this is what he likes, then there's no wrong answer.
Okay.
However, if he's using the compressor first and it's on, then it's going to affect the pedals next going after the fact. So I would recommend not going into the compressor first and take that out.
Made me do that.
Yeah, that's from my studio perspective. Right. As I look at it, that's where you. So I was thinking from that. See,
from a purity point, I'd probably have go into the blues driver first, since this is going to be more or less your subtle, somewhat of a overdrive. Yeah, got a slight crunch.
No, that thing could get pretty heavy.
But how do you use it?
I use it for kind of hotter leads. For the more subtle stuff, I use the Crunchy
Frog.
Frog.
And in this case, then I would go here first.
Okay.
I would go here first and then into your blues driver.
Okay.
With the possibility of having your wah even prior to that stuff, depending on how the wah reacts, because there's a cue, there's a filter in here, right? So you may have to listen to it before the 2 overdrives or after. I would try that first. Then I would follow it by your EQ, then your compressor, then you go into your modulation stuff, which you do have corrected at the last half of your board, which you want, like your choruses and delays at the end. However, you do have your other overdrive towards the end here that's really hot that you mentioned, and I'm not sure. That's something I'd have to listen to and see how that benefits you against these 2 others that you have. But using the loop, like we were talking about, is where you would really benefit, because I don't know what kind of noise level you're getting or any kind of hum or whatever.
There's quite a bit.
Well, with the Vox, actually not that bad, but the PV Classic 50 I have, that gets pretty noisy.
Okay, so in that case, then, being able to take some of these pedals and group them in a loop and isolate them, 1, that's going to fix that issue. 2, I see various cables plugged in, different types of cables or manufactured cables into the different pedals, which I kind of like keeping all of the same brand. That way I know getting what I'm getting in and out of one all the way down to the end. So I'd clean that up a bit. But I think probably the controller or the loop interface would actually help in this case quite a bit. But we'd have to sit down and actually break it down from scratch, listen to a couple different combinations in the signal flow, see if you like it, and also pair a couple things that you would like together. Maybe the delay in the chorus on one particular, that way you can have them both on at the same time, where in this case you can't. You're going to have to turn them on individually.
Can you do it back and forth? Because the one combo that I do really like is the chorus and the blues driver together. So if I have them on the loop, but I want to separate them, I could also
simply just
hit the pedal.
Right.
Okay.
And what you want to do with that is he has all his pedals on one flat board, which, depending on what type of shoe you're going to wear or how you're going to be able to turn one on to the next, you're probably going to land on some of the same buttons. So you'd probably want to have a riser towards the back of this, so to raise it. That way your foot will not engage both pedals or mess with your settings, which you've got taped here in some cases, or you want to mark them.
My plan was just to take tap dancing lessons.
Yeah, but you want to eliminate that because
we want to incorporate that in the show.
Yeah, I mean, you want to focus on what you're playing, not much where you got to move your feet all the time.
Yeah, and that is a problem for me. I kind of tend to focus too much on what's going on down there.
Yeah, because and then now you're focused down here, looking down here, rather than being listening to what you're playing and listening to everybody else. But I think we certainly can help you out, and I think we get together later, whatever, and tweak it out a bit.
So that's just a small sampling, and honestly, just hearing what you just said just opened my eyes as a producer, as well as being his, part of the rhythm section, of the band, and it's just it's amazing to me what so much stuff. Like I said, I've been doing this for so many years, and you just kind of illuminated all that.
Well, he might be getting some noise here looking at this between. Here's the thing that you don't want to do is the power cables that you have for your power supply and the interconnects that you have when they're on top of each other, that will cause noise, white noise, RF, whatever, depending on the pedal, right? So you want those to be kind of like crossed as opposed together or on top of each other.
Wow, okay.
That's one thing. The other thing we might be able to do, the power supply. We'd have to look at that and see what's going on with that. Right. What I wanted to interject was if you're using 20 feet of cable, after about 18 and a half feet of cable measured, you start to hear a little loss in your signal. At least that's the technical length that they've determined, and it depends on the cable. But if you have 20 feet in front, 20 feet in the back, and you've got 4 feet here, you got 44 feet of cable, you certainly are going to notice a difference in your tone.
Wow. You know what? There's never enough time. There's never enough time. We're down to our last 20 seconds here.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah, that is. Well, you know what? The good news is they can go out to the Guitar Trader today, get this information. This is just a small sampling, and you've been able to really, illuminate, information, and for me, slightly demystified. I'm still, floored.
It's science.
It is definitely. Well, thanks so much, Lauren, previously. Ron, amazing.
Thanks a lot.
Hopefully you can come back and talk about some of the other products that you have here. This is a wrap, folks. This is, you've been listening to Changing Stage on the WS Radio Network, brought to you by MusicPower.com. My name is Florentino. Thanks to the Lord above for making this all happen. We'll be back next week with another great guest, Mr. Bobby G.
Are you ready to get real about your music? My name's Florentino, and I'm the host of The Changing Stage. On my show, we get the real stories of how great music and musicians are made. You know who else is real? The professionals at MusicPower.com. They help serious players make music happen with the right advice, direction, and cutting-edge gear. Isn't it time you leave amateur hour behind? Then go to MusicPower.com. Real musicians, real gear.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Connected World Magazine is dedicated to reporting on the next generation of M2M and connected devices. Subscribe today for only $12.97 at connectedworldmag.com/subscribe. Written for the fast-paced, device-enthused individual or business, Connected World Magazine provides unique insight and analysis to all things connected. Subscribe today for only $12.97 at connectedworldmag.com/subscribe. Connected World. Living the connected life has never been easier.
Hi, this is Felix Taberna, host of Race and Sports Radio. Join our cast and crew every Saturday and Sunday right here at WSRadio.com, beginning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Race and Sports Radio.